Please be advised that the following program contains language and content of an adult nature.
I'm Edward Asner.
I'm Mark Ruffalo.
I'm JoBeth Williams.
I'm Ron Rifkin.
I'm Ann H.
This is Jimmy Smits.
This is LA Theater Works. I'm Susan Lowenberg. In the military reports and historical records written after the war in Vietnam, there is a phrase that catches the eye: losses sustained. How do we measure such a thing? There are, of course, the physical losses, the lives of more than 58,000 U.S. soldiers and at least 3 million Vietnamese. But the spiritual losses are not easily quantified. Many Americans felt a loss of national honor or lost respect for their leaders. For the South Vietnamese, the place they call home ceased to exist. In our story this week, these two worlds intersect in an unlikely place, a university near the peaceful bayous of Louisiana. There we meet three people haunted by the Vietnam War. Waterman, the poet, who went to jail rather than serve in the war. Mimi, his muse, who lost a loved one in battle. And Robert, who was born in Vietnam and left in 1975, but not before seeing his family lose its dignity and its country. And now, LA Theater Works presents Mimi's Guide by Doris Baizley, starring Powers Boothe, Francis Conroy, and Ping Wu.
Jasmine, bougainvillea, bird of paradise, banana palms and everything. Green wherever you look. What is it? What is it?
Holy Jesus.
No,
Mimi?
it's gone now.
Well, this is a damn fine reception. Where the hell is everybody?
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, if you like trash bags, old beer cans, and chicken bones, yeah.
It's not that.
Well, they gave a hell of a greeting to somebody. I'm sorry we missed it.
I mean the place.
Looks better in the brochure. Visiting writer's residence in the gracious tradition of the Old South.
Louisiana is not just the Old South. They call it something else here, don't they?
Well, it sure as hell isn't gracious. You think they welcome every visiting poet this way?
I keep thinking I've seen it before.
Yeah. Kind of takes you back to welcoming cocktails at Harvard, doesn't it?
Oh, come on. You hated that.
Tea and cookies at Holy Cross?
You were out of there in 10 minutes.
Hot chocolate at the Book Nook.
10 minutes flat.
Well, at least they knew I was there. I'm calling the English department. This is not a good sign.
It's beautiful, though, isn't it? Oh, come on. Look at it, Waterman.
I looked. I'd like to see their catalog. What do you bet I'm not even on the curriculum?
They didn't know you were coming in early to meet me. They're probably out of the airport right now. Look at all these flowers. I don't even know what you call these.
Read the chicken bones on the floor, Mimi. The poet comes in and the party's over.
I'm sure this is Jasmine.
They don't want us here.
Close your eyes and breathe in.
Oh, well, what the hell? I've got nothing new. They'll probably enjoy an entire semester of silence.
Be quiet, Waterman. You're missing the adventure.
Oh, the muse has spoken.
And don't call me Muse.
So, you're adding on to your list of rules now?
My rules? I thought we agreed.
A trial period. Meet on neutral territory?
You asked me.
Your room, my room, and no sneaking up.
Did I say no sneaking up?
Ah, so there is sneaking up.
Waterman.
This is good news. This is very good news. I'm unloading the car right now.
And call the English department. We could use some help cleaning up.
Jesus God.
What?
Bullet holes.
What?
bullet holes right in this wall. You want adventure? You got it. They killed the last poet in residence.
Waterman.
I'm calling the English department. Where's the phone?
Look upstairs. It's real jungle, Mimi. Green wherever you look. Sometimes it's so beautiful here, you can't believe where you are.
Hey,
Hey!
I'm glad somebody got here. My class started working this morning, but it's Pledge Week, and everybody took off. Yours too, I guess.
Sorry?
Your kids.
My kids? I don't,
Complete, right? Did you bring the roses?
What?
The decorations for Waterman. Modern poetry brings the lights, Complete brings the roses, and American brings the cokes. Cokes and roses, roses and cokes. Waterman seminar. Mimi's Guide to the States. I thought you guys had that all worked out.
Oh, yes, I get it. That's fantastic.
You've never done this before.
No, I haven't.
We always decorate for the visiting poet. When Robert Bly got here, we had the whole driveway lined with those white stones and candles.
Really? That's great.
If you're into his stuff.
You're not.
I don't mind his Rilke translations so much. At least you can't decorate from them.
All that silence and dark.
Yeah. You're not from Complete, are you?
No.
You're not in French.
No.
I know it's not English.
Where are you from?
American Poetry, 401. I took over the Waterman seminar when they dropped him out of Modern. I know I've seen you somewhere.
They dropped him out of Modern?
A few years ago. But he's very big in American. We usually get a waiting list for that class.
Oh, well, that's good. What?
You're familiar with his work?
Yes, I am.
Then you know his Mimi's Guide poems are the most popular in the whole course.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. The kids love those poems. When he speaks in her voice, he can go anywhere. She always starts somewhere ordinary and takes you somewhere unknown.
You mean the road poems in Mimi's Guide to the States?
In all of them. But the kids like those best.
But you...
Oh, I like them.
But not best.
Well, it changes. Sometimes I'd say Mimi's Guide to the Seasons, but right now, I think Mimi's Guide to the Church.
The one with all the Catholic stuff.
The 15 Mysteries.
Oh, yes. That's a good one.
I memorized it when I was 16. It was banned in my high school.
Oh, my gosh. I love that. I'll bet we could get some roses. I saw some gorgeous ramblers out of the end of the driveway. There must be some scissors around here somewhere.
Mimi.
Yes.
God.
You knew all along.
The only voice in modern poetry who says, oh my gosh. God, I've been teaching you all semester.
You mean Waterman?
I'm sorry. I was so sure I knew you from school or somewhere.
No, it's okay. I liked being from school. I should have told you.
Nobody said you were coming with him.
I didn't come with him. He flew in from Oregon. I drove down from New York. I wasn't planning to come at all, but when I saw it was here, I don't know. It's strange.
What?
I keep thinking I've seen it before. But then I've never been any place this tropical, I guess you'd call it.
It really isn't the tropics.
The bayou.
The Delta.
Right. Of course. The Delta.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. It's just different here, isn't it?
Well, it's below sea level for one thing. You're probably used to a higher altitude.
Right.
Plus the humidity. This is the worst time of year.
Just before the rainy season.
Yeah. You know about that?
And you're...
I'm the one who got him invited. I never thought that...
Hey, Mimi, you got it. They're out at the airport meeting the 5 o'clock flight.
I don't believe this. We were going to have it ready.
It's our fault. We got here early. Let me help.
We're supposed to stay right here. Professor, somebody from Modern Poetry is coming with his class to fix it up.
Waterman, come down here.
You don't have to do this.
No, it's a great idea. He's going to love the coke and roses.
Oh, you should see it up here. Mosquito nets on the bed, ceiling fans. Bamboo blinds, very sexy, mean.
I should go.
You want to reconsider about those rooms?
I'll get some kids. We'll clean this up in no time.
No, don't go. I'll get him.
Mimi, did you hear me? Are you talking to somebody down there? That professor finally arrived?
No, Waterman.
Yes.
What?
I'm the professor.
Hey, where's the aspirin?
Packing box marked kitchen. You're the...
Associate professor, but it's not modern poetry.
Oh, yes, they moved him out. You can't tell him that.
But they love him in American. This year we got 5 stars in the student review for best dating class on campus.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. You'll have to tell him that.
It's amazing. When I first started reading those poems, I was sure he made you up.
Well, he did. He made up the poems.
Not as much as I thought. I mean, you've really done all the things he's got in the guides. Substitute teacher, cab driver, nurse practitioner.
Well, that was quite a while ago, but I still teach.
Poetry?
Reading mostly. Elementary school in the morning and adult education at night. I get them before they get to Waterman.
Have you really got a stone from every state?
Yes,
And you know the names of the 50 state flowers?
every one.
And you really passed out the first time you kissed them?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, sorry, I sort of jumped in.
That's okay. I should be used to it. I haven't been on one of these tours of his for a while.
So it's true?
Bam, out cold. Right in the middle of Washington Square.
What movie was it?
What?
The movie you were coming back from in that poem, he didn't put that in.
Oh,
You don't remember?
no, I remember. It was Truffaut. The story of Adele H., the one where Isabella Jani's so obsessed with that English soldier. Waterman said he didn't know which one of us was more Adele H., so we started calling each other Adele, or sometimes just H.
He should have put that in the poem.
He was probably afraid it would be too romantic.
What's wrong with that?
That word has been used against him more than once.
If I put it in a poem, it wouldn't be romantic.
What would it be?
I'm not sure yet. Of course, I'd have to change your name.
I wouldn't mind.
No, names are important, and yours is definitely taken. I think I'll use Adele.
Oh, no. Now that you can't do. That would really him off. I shouldn't have told you.
He wouldn't know. There are plenty of Adeles in the world.
Really, I mean it.
Well, then maybe just H.
No, that's worse.
It's the alphabet. Anybody can use it.
Then pick another letter. You've got 25 more to choose from.
No, I like H now. It's just about perfect, symmetrical, 2 equal verticals joined at the center by a short horizontal. Reverse it, turn it upside down, look at it from the other side. It never changes. It's not even a sound, just a breath going out.
It's funny you didn't say you were a poet right away.
I wouldn't call myself that. Not out loud anyway, not yet.
What are you waiting for?
I can't picture walking into a room and saying, I'm a poet, or I write poems. I can't even feel those words in my mouth.
So you keep it quiet.
Yeah.
Me too. When I'm with people who haven't read Waterman, they don't know I'm Mimi, and I'm free, I guess. Don't tell him that either.
It's strange.
What?
Hearing your voice. All those poems and the guides are written in your voice, but it doesn't sound like I thought.
How does it sound?
I don't know. It's different, but more familiar in a way.
Like you've heard it before,
Yes.
in the poems.
No, that's the strange part. You get that a lot, I guess.
No, I know the feeling. I had it as soon as I got here. Where did you say you were from?
Baton Rouge.
I mean, before that.
Anaheim, California, about 6 blocks from the Matterhorn.
But you weren't born there.
In Disneyland? No, I think they got an ordinance against that.
Stop it!
What?
You know all about me.
No, I don't. I know the poems. I don't know you.
Aha! So, there is a welcoming committee. You must be from that, what's his name's modern poetry class?
No, actually,
American poetry, Waterman Seminar. He's the professor. He teaches you.
associate professor.
Professor? Oh, my God. I thought you were one of the kids.
Waterman isn't big on courtesy.
That's okay, I've heard it before.
No. It's great. I've been getting old up in those mountains. I see you've met the muse.
Waterman.
So, how does she match up, Professor? Have I captured her in print?
I don't think that would be easy to do.
No. No, it's not.
He's made you a hero, Waterman. Best dating class on campus.
Oh, very impressive. Did I get your name?
Oh, Lee. Robert Lee. I'll be introducing your readings and leading your seminars. And I'd like to do a Q&A craft interview for the magazine when you have time.
Is that Lee, L-E-E, or Lee, L-I?
Lee L.Y. Like the famous Southern general who lost the Civil War, but not quite.
Ah, got it. Very interesting.
Yeah, it is. Have you seen the bullet holes?
They're real?
Sure, they're famous. William Burroughs did that when he was in residence. We were going to patch them up, but the Beat Seminar got out a petition to have them preserved.
Amazing.
No kidding. You should have seen it when Allen Ginsberg came. It looked like a war zone. Campus cops plus town cops, war on drug helicopters, the whole bit. And nothing happened. When he left, there wasn't even a broken glass. A couple of kids asleep on the lawn, smell of incense. And that was it.
Vietnam.
What?
That's Vietnamese, isn't it? The name Lee, L-Y?
Yes, it is.
That's where you're from?
I'm from Baton Rouge.
But you weren't born there.
No,
You were born in Vietnam.
right.
Wow.
What?
That's a hard word to say, isn't it?
For some people, I guess. I don't remember it.
Oh, you're lucky.
You think so?
I don't know of any good memories.
I'd like to think that's over now.
Yeah, we've got normalization now, right? Pepsi's in, Citibank's in, and that Holiday Inn will go up any minute. Everything's normal now.
That's a pretty cynical view.
You said it was over. Presto, story's finished. That's all she wrote.
I didn't say it was easy. As I recall, you didn't go. You went to jail and came out with your first collection.
Hey, that wasn't a walk in the park.
Of course not. But it turned out okay for both of us. So in that sense, it's over.
Yeah, right. Right, Mimi? Mimi?
Yes, right.
You weren't listening.
I was listening. God, I'm starving.
What?
Robert, is there any food in this house?
You've got about 10 gallons of crawfish soup and rice in the kitchen, plus orange flour macaroons, green mango pickle, and
Holy mo!
we got it for the reception. The department secretary thought you'd like to try something regional.
What region is that exactly?
According to the English department, it's Creole.
You really eat that stuff?
Not if I can help it. My region's strictly quarter pounders and fries. But the macaroons aren't bad. And we got plenty to drink.
Sounds good to me.
Mimi.
Don't, okay? Just don't.
You don't think it's interesting?
Yes, it's interesting.
And you're not going to tell him your story?
I'm sure he's heard those stories 1,000,000 times.
Not about Mike?
And what's he supposed to do about it? Apologize?
The young professor says it's all over. I'll bet I could show him where it's still going on right in this house.
I thought you were coming here to start on something new.
3 letters in your suitcase at this moment, am I right?
They're not your letters.
Well, I've lived with them for a long time. 3 letters, airmail paper, handwritten in blue ballpoint pen. Return address, APO San Francisco.
In my suitcase, in my room, with my stuff.
Let's see. How does it go? These kids come around selling Cokes and beer to us. Then they go back and tell their leaders where we are.
Stop it.
They watch you walk down a trail planted with mines, and they don't say anything.
Waterman.
You never know who's the enemy and who's not.
Open your eyes, Waterman. We're in a whole new place, and you're missing it.
Well, I think you got everything you need in there. Here you go.
Oh, perfect. Coca-Cola, just perfect.
Look, I don't mean to push, but as soon as you have some time, I'd like to go over a few things and maybe start on that interview. I hope we'll do some good work here.
I don't see why not. Now that Mimi's with me, it's starting already.
Is he in some kind of trouble?
He requires a certain amount of trouble.
I've got him scheduled for a lot of things. If there's some problem...
I can do it.
That's not...
I've done whole residencies without him. Seminars, readings, interviews. Holyoke, Santa Cruz, and St. John's. He didn't show up at all. Iowa, he walked out halfway through.
You don't think that'll happen here, do you?
No. This isn't like any of those places.
No. Well, I guess... Oh, hey, how about a matnut?
What?
For the roses.
Oh, yes, right.
Here. Well, I better get back to the department and straighten things out. If you need anything, please call or come over. I'll give you a tour of the campus and get you signed up at the library.
Right.
Okay. Okay, then.
Wait, Robert.
Yes?
Robert. That's a good name for a poet.
Thanks.
It is a hard word to say, isn't it, Robert? 26 years, and we still can't say it.
Okay. Waterman, craft interview, tape 1. Language.
Language. Okay. All right, let's see. All right. Here it is. How about this? I look at you and I say the words Malibu, Santa Fe, Hibachi. What do you say?
Chicken or steak?
Well, that shoots the mystery right in the foot.
Well, Malibu means with lemon, Santa Fe's with peppers, and hibachi means grilled. You never been to a sizzler?
Well, hell, I just spent the morning in one thinking I'd made a discovery. I got in there and I couldn't understand a word. I had to ask the waiter to translate the menu for me. There I was encountering a whole new language where bamboodles means Chinese food, Maria's Cafe means Mexican, and what is it? What do they call Italian?
La Vincita.
There you go. So I wondered what it would be like to be fluent in this new language. Can the taste buds actually respond to the words bamboodles and Malibu? What is it like to enter a solid court without irony? And if I could start thinking in this language, would I be able to enter the mind and heart of a man who lives in a town home, in a new adult gated community with one of those names, something Point with an E, or Green? There's with that E again.
You don't see me, you don't hear me, I'm invisible. An armful of flowers, the scent of roses, and she's gone.
No, wait, Mimi.
What?
Come with us to the seminar. That's okay, isn't it?
Sure, that would be great.
Has she told you what we do?
Waterman!
We have a kind of a secret code.
Are you telling him?
The first time she came to a reading of mine, when was that? In NYU 73, yeah. The week I got out of jail, she sat in the front row and we had this communication going before we even spoke a word. It's a code, see? And it's all in body language.
You are telling him.
Each gesture stands for something, and each gesture calls for a response. She rests her chin on her left hand. I close my eyes. She touches her hair. I lean forward. She slips off a shoe.
You touched the water glass.
You know that?
Words can't describe the rush, the total split of mind and body. You can actually feel the right and left brain tearing apart. I think it must have originated with the nuns in convent schools, passed down by generations of Catholic girls.
Sisters of Mercy?
Immaculate Heart, you too?
The Jesuits.
Are you still?
Practicing? No, I gave that up when I was 18.
Me too, 17.
Come on, Mimi. Come with us.
Oh my gosh. What time does the seminar start?
3.
Well, then you'd better get going if you're going to get back in time for the party. Here, your mat knife worked wonders, Robert. I have been robbing the neighbors blind for these roses.
The poem is actually written in her voice. He leans forward, I touch my hair. You should hear her read it. Any of my poems. They don't really live until they come from her.
You wouldn't consider that romantic?
Well, not in the Hallmark card sense of the word. It's more elemental than that.
A force of nature.
Exactly. You hook into that and you got something.
Have you ever really read a Hallmark card?
Jesus. Mimi!
I wasn't being critical.
Like hell. Mimi!
No, really, I thought... Well,
No, you think I don't know from a Hallmark card.
I thought it might be interesting. Another language, like Sizzler, a new vocabulary for romance.
Hey, what's wrong?
Nothing's wrong.
What happened?
It's nothing, really.
You called him romantic.
Not as an insult.
I know that tone.
You know what to do when this happens. You take him by the hand, lead him to the nearest dictionary, look up romance, and send him straight back to the Dark Ages. Leave him in the woods. Let him hear the wandering singers and the drunken ex-monks telling the old Celtic tales from the north, with some new Christian words from the south, and bam, you've got French. Then, France invades England, and everybody's got it. The stories conquer Europe, and in every one, the motivating force is a woman. She invents the rules of combat and courtly love. She's married to a king. She chooses her knight from among his men. They become lovers in secret. She gives him a piece of her garment, hands him his weapon, and sends him on his quest. He's bound to her till death, but she's not his and never will be. Longing for her is the source of his greatest achievement and his destruction. Her color is white. Her number is 3. Her sign is the moon. Her element is earth. Her name is the secret code to the oldest religion passed down by the poets, the Dark Lady, the White Goddess, La Belle Dame sans merci. Suzanne leads you down. And if you think she stops there, turn on your radio, check out your bestseller list. Think of romance as trash, but you can't speak our language without it. You guys can memorize it in the car. I'm driving.
She's also got an amazing gift for finding lost objects. You can't find something? Ask Mimi. She'll stand in the middle of the room, close her eyes, and tell you right where it is. 9 times out of 10, she nails it.
Sounds perfect.
Nah, I'm wrong about the eyes. She doesn't close her eyes. Oh, it went all right.
Are you kidding? It went great.
I'm never sure on the first day.
They loved it.
They said so?
The women especially. We've had to start a waiting list to get into your seminar class.
Mimi's readings never fail.
She's great.
But your toast was generous.
You liked it?
Yeah, I'd like it tattooed on my back.
To earth, air, fire, and watermen.
Oh, you're good, Lee.
I got it from you.
Yeah, well, I just follow Mimi. To Robert.
You don't have to.
To all the Roberts. Heroes of poetry, living and dead. To Browning and Blythe, to Creeley and Penn Warren, to Graves and Frost,
To
and Burns.
Dylan and Marley.
God, yes, the Bubs of the world. Long life to their songs. And some damn fine Williams and Waltz, huh? Where's Mimi?
Walking the chairman to his car the last I saw her.
Did you see her dancing with him?
Yeah, that was great. He never does that.
Oh, she likes it here.
You think so?
Oh, I wasn't so sure at first. I thought maybe she'd just get me settled in and take off, but she looks like she's staying.
I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, she's into it. Department chairmen aren't her most favorite dancing partners. Kind of feels like I've got a rival.
I wouldn't worry about the chairman. He must be, what, 60-something?
Oh, you think that's too old?
Didn't you get a look at him?
Now, why would I look at him? She's got the party dress on and the high heels. There's nothing wrong with having a rival. Keeps your wits sharp. There's only one I haven't been able to handle.
You're working on another Mimi's Guide, right?
If she's into something, I pick up on it one way or another. She only chooses the brightest and the best.
Then I'm sure it's not the chairman.
Oh, no. It's not the chairman.
Well, I did ask her to put in a good word for me. There's a faculty review coming up, and certain factions aren't crazy about promoting me up through the ranks so fast.
How old are you?
Right. The big argument against me is age. They seem to think 26 is too young for a permanent position.
26.
You wouldn't get that in the sciences. I don't know why they think literature is only for old guys.
Yeah, you send them to me. I'll tell them they're lucky to have you.
Well, that's great. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Every English department in the country should be begging to get a guy from a culture that really values poetry.
I wouldn't go that far.
Hell, a Vietnamese 12-year-old can probably recite more poems than a Harvard professor.
That's not exactly...
So, is it really true what about Walt Whitman?
Excuse me?
Well, all through the 60s, we heard how much the Vietnamese loved Walt Whitman. There was this story about a soldier from the North who got captured in a couple of American Marines. He shows them his book of poems and starts talking about Walt Whitman this and Walt Whitman that. Now, the Marines, they don't know what the hell he's talking about. They think this Whitman must be some kind of spy and send the poems to intelligence for decoding.
I never heard that one.
Oh, yeah. We had a huge mythology about the North, especially if you were a poet. We got a very glamorous picture of a nation of poets and warriors. We all read Ho, of course, but we also had a lot of those, what do you call it, those folk poems?
The Kada.
Yeah, that's right. Our favorite was the Soldier's Kadao from the Siege of Dien Bien Phu.
Waterman.
If you don't have a vehicle, pull the artillery, you must use your shoulders. One shoulder to pull the gun, one shoulder to bring the moon. Oh, yeah, the VC had a great one, too. We had a big poster of it over the door to the Peace School. You remember that one, Mimi?
Yankee, I swear to you with words as sharp as knives, in this country it is only you and me, and I am already here, so you must go. Well, Robert, you've got the chairman in the palm of your hand. I told him you were doing a brilliant set of interviews.
Even their rules were poetry. Walk without footprint, speak without sound, arrive without image, leave without shadow. How would you translate those words exactly, Kadao?
I'm not sure. Probably something like Hallmark card.
That wasn't your tradition.
No. My father recited Baudelaire.
He was a poet?
A lieutenant.
For the South?
Yes.
Arvin.
Right.
That's too bad. That wasn't the side to be on.
What did you say?
I said, it's too bad. It wasn't.
Not that.
What?
What you said after that.
I don't get it.
That wasn't the side to be on?
South Vietnam.
It wasn't a side.
Oh, you know what I mean.
He lost his country.
Look, we all lost a lot there.
You didn't lose your country.
Ah, come on. 60,000 guys my age. And how many did the North lose? Something like 2 million?
It wasn't your country.
Well, no, of course not. That's not the point. Two corrupt governments selling out to each other, politics, the whole stinking
It wasn't your country!
Robert.
Robert? What Robert? You think that's my name? You think they all got to sit around and choose sides? My father was fighting for his home. He didn't get a choice.
Okay. It was a war for everybody. I refused to fight it then. I'm not going to start now.
Why should you? You already won.
Won what? I spent 3 years in jail.
I know. I read the profiles. You learned Old English and Ancient Greek. You started a peace school that became a highly funded institution. You published 2 collections, won a bunch of major awards, and came out of there with your reputation firmly in place.
So you want me to apologize? I wasn't dancing in the streets, for God's sake. I was in jail.
Some people say the war made your name.
Oh, now that is dog. I made my name, and you want to talk about who lost what? Forget it. I'm not getting into this. I mean, where's the aspirin?
Upstairs bathroom.
Look, just let her make you some coffee and drive you home. No more war, okay, Lee? We got better stuff to fight over. No more war.
More of Mimi's Guide starring Francis Conroy in a moment. If you've missed anything so far, you can listen online at latw.org or check this station's website. This is LA Theatre Works.
Support for this program is provided by the National Endowment for the Arts, a public agency dedicated to supporting excellence in the arts, because a great nation deserves great art. More information is available at NEA.gov. LA Theatre Works shows are performed and recorded in front of a live audience for later broadcast on your public radio station as part of our Los Angeles in-performance season. More information about our current season and how you could become a part of our live broadcast recording is at LA Theatre Works box office at latw.org. Major funding for LA Theatre Works live performance season is provided by the Peter Glenville Foundation.
LA Theatre Works' award-winning collection includes stories of war and its aftermath. In Arthur Miller's classic drama All My Sons, a family tries to deal with the death of their son during World War II.
It's so strange. Annie's here and not even married, and I've got 3 babies.
Yeah, that's what a war does. I had 2 sons, now I got 1. It changed all the tallies.
And in a completely different vein, 2 brothers return home from World War II and try to break into comedy in Neil Simon's Broadway Bound.
Have I got time to go to the bathroom?
We're on in 3 minutes.
You go when you have to go. Go on, Pop.
You got today's paper?
The paper?
LA Theatre Works offers more than 200 classic and contemporary titles on CD or as downloads. You can find them at our website, latw.org. This is LA Theatre Works. We'll continue with Mimi's Guide by Doris Baizley in just a few minutes. But first...
It's for the Vulan.
The Vulan.
Yeah, anyone who dies a violent death, far from home, or without children, they're called the wandering spirits or hungry ghosts.
The hungry ghosts of Vietnam are a very real part of the country's traditions and folklore. Each year they are honored in a festival known as Vulan, or the Amnesty of Unquiet Spirits, in which the hungry ghosts are fed and prayers are offered for their salvation. But when American forces arrived in Vietnam in the 1960s, they saw the Vulan tradition as the perfect tool of psychological warfare. We invited psychological operations expert Herbert A. Friedman to tell us more about Operation Wandering Soul.
My name is Herb Friedman. I'm a retired U.S. Army Sergeant Major. Operation Wandering Soul was used during the Vietnam War when the United States used psychological techniques to persuade the Viet Cong and the NVA to surrender or defect. Many of the nations of the world honor their ancestors, and the Vietnamese believed that if you weren't buried close to home where you could be honored and you could be worshipped each year, your soul would wander forever, starving and in a state of hell. The United States Psychological Group decided to produce a tape that would sound like a soul of a wandering Viet Cong or North Vietnamese army soldier who walked the earth forever looking for some kind of peace. In general, you first hear the sound of a funeral music, and you hear the sounds of a ghost who's mourning in the background. Then you might hear a daughter cry out for her father, "Daddy, Daddy, come home with me. Come home, Daddy, Daddy." The ghost father responds, "Who is that? Who is calling me? My daughter? My wife? I am dead, my family. Tragic. How tragic." And then, of course, he would talk really more to the Viet Cong than to the family. And he would say, "My friends, I come back to let you know that I am dead. I am in hell, just hell. It was a senseless death. But when I realized the truth, it was too late. Friends, while you are still alive, there is still a chance that you can be reunited with your loved ones. Go home, my friends, before it is too late. Go home. Go home, friends." And the tape concludes with more moans from the afterlife. In trying to evaluate the success of the campaign, I have to say up front that it's impossible. People that are involved in PSYOP always believe that all campaigns work and sometimes oversell what they do. The opposite of that is the old line infantry officers that just hate psychological warfare, think it's a total waste of time. It's somewhere in the middle.
You've been listening to psychological operations expert Herbert A. Friedman speaking about Operation Wandering Soul. You can hear more on our website. Go to latw.org. Now we continue with our production of Mimi's Guide by Doris Baizley, starring Francis Conroy and Powers Boothe.
He has no idea.
He doesn't usually drink this much.
You don't have to apologize for him.
I plan on doing the same for you.
Don't. He talks and he talks, even when he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
He says it first and understands it later.
As if
That's how he
he's entitled
works.
to say anything he wants.
Isn't he?
My father had to beg to get us out of the country. He went down to the last American left at the U.S. Information Service, got down on his knees, and begged. A grown man kneeling to this clerk, half his age, with nowhere near his education. He spent his life working to save his country, then had to beg to leave it. He gave up everything he had for us. And Waterman sits in his big chair and talks about loss. This isn't even his house.
What is your name?
You want another secret you can keep from him?
I don't need another one.
Or let him put it in a poem?
I don't do that anymore. I'll make you some coffee.
Love Anli. My name is Love Anli.
So you do remember something.
Just the words.
When did you leave?
When I was 7.
In 1975?
Terrific. You saw Miss Saigon.
You left from Saigon?
The air base at Da Nang. That's quite a bit north of...
I know where Da Nang is. So you were born in 1968.
Good math.
What month?
Look, I don't know what you're after.
I'm just asking you to tell me your birthday.
No, you're not.
Is it in May?
Are you planning a party?
Is it any time around May 10th?
Tell me why you're asking.
I'm not sure yet.
What if I said May 11th?
I might not believe you.
It's on my driver's license.
Show me.
You know this is nuts.
Let me see. Okay.
But it wasn't in Da Nang or Saigon or any place you'd know of.
Was it in Quang Ngai?
Jesus.
Was it? You were born in Quang Ngai on May 11th, 1968. Yes or no?
Yes. Can we drop this now?
No.
Then tell me what's so important about it.
Oh, it's too bad you can't remember it. The guidebook says it's beautiful. Some don't even mention Quang Ngai. But I know how to get there. It's a 24-hour drive north from Ho Chi Minh City, or you can fly to Da Nang and drive 2 hours south.
You're going there?
There's one place I'm looking for.
Some place or someone?
I don't know, maybe both.
Something to do with an MIA?
No, what's the code? Kilo, something Kilo, India?
KIA. Killed in action.
It was a fragmentation mine set off by a tripwire on a night ambush patrol outside Quang Ngai. When they say outside Quang Ngai, I don't know how far or in what direction. My guidebooks don't have maps of that area.
It happened on May 11th?
May 11th, 1968. The platoon was medevaced to the field hospital in Shulai. His body was flown back from Da Nang on a cargo plane. Remains unviewable. He was 22.
You were related to him?
We talked about getting married.
I'm sorry. I was wrong to yell at Waterman. Everyone lost there.
He gave me a map to keep track of him. I marked his arrival at Tan Son Nut. I drew a line north when he was stationed at Da Nang, then south to the base at Shulai. Whatever place he mentioned in his letters, I found it on the map, except that one spot. If I could just see that.
My mother says it was beautiful.
Does she have pictures?
No.
That's all right. I'll see it for myself.
She says it's a lot like here.
I know.
Was he your first lover?
God. I was 17. I'd never have used that word. Boyfriend, maybe?
He was your first boyfriend.
We were so secretive about it, nobody really knew. I couldn't tell my parents I'd slept with him. My friends were all anti-war, so I couldn't tell them. I only wrote him at night when everybody was asleep. I told him 3 lies. That it was right for him to go, that I'd wait till he came back, that he'd come back.
Maybe they're not lies anymore.
You think it was right for him to go?
You waited for him a long time.
And he's coming back?
Will you tell me his name?
I stopped saying it a long time ago.
You don't have to.
It feels so small compared to what happened.
Vietnam.
You stopped saying that.
You picked that up right away.
Do you ever want to see it?
I think about it.
I've got all the guidebooks.
Mimi.
Air France has 4 flights a week from Paris to Ho Chi Minh City. Paris à Hauteville, Wednesdays and Saturdays. 18 hours via Dubai, arriving at Tan Son Nut Airport. They still call it that. Vietnam Airlines flies to Da Nang the next day, so you either stay at the hotel near the airport or take a Saigon taxi into town. Well, that's what I'd do. I'd go to Le Loire Boulevard and get a new map at one of the bookstalls.
Ludloy.
What?
You say Ludloy.
Le Loire Boulevard.
Yes.
The flower market's there. I'd like to see that. And the Café Givral for coffee and French rolls.
What then?
I don't know. Look around.
Where do you stay?
What?
Hotels.
Well, there's the Rex, the Continental, the Caravel. It was renamed the Doc Lap in '75, but they changed it back last year. Both names are okay now.
That's good.
Which one?
The Caravel.
Okay.
What are the rooms like?
There's air conditioning, good city views, complimentary breakfast and basket of fruit, dancing nightly on the 10th floor.
Yeah, I like it.
The dancing?
The room. I don't think the AC is working, though. What time's the flight to Da Nang?
I don't think that's in the book.
What book?
Robert.
It's probably early. Things start early on account of the heat.
You're tired.
That's all right. If we miss the plane, we'll rent a car and head straight up Highway 1. You'll drive. I'll read the road signs.
Wouldn't that be great?
It is great.
It wouldn't be easy. A lot of the bridges are still bombed out. They warn about washouts during monsoon season and undetonated mortars and mines in the fields.
That's okay. We'll take a long time. We'll make lots of stops.
We'll see Marble Mountain and the Cham sculptures in Da Nang. All the gods at Rama's wedding festival. Shiva dances with Durga in her aggressive aspect. In her 4 hands she holds the weapons of war and the lotus flower. Her bracelets are living serpents. Skulls are braided in her hair. Her face is turned toward Shiva, staring at the flames of destruction. One foot is raised in the dance. The other is planted.
On the water monster.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah. He's huge. He's got these big, bulging eyes, one big eyebrow, and this crazy smile. And everywhere you go, he's looking right at you. He's still there.
They're all still there, still dancing, still scaring 7-year-olds out of their wits. They made it through 13 centuries and 13 million tons of bombs.
They really are gods.
The airfield's gone, though.
What?
The Marine airfield at Marble Mountain. The guidebook says it's all but disappeared. Was that the one you left from?
I took off, and it disappeared.
Like magic. Maybe you're a god.
Creator and destroyer. He makes old airfields disappear. He turns them into airfields.
Gods on the road.
Yes. And Durga's driving. Durga in her Mimi aspect. In her 4 hands, she holds the keys, the map, the steering wheel, the guidebook.
And Shiva rides shotgun.
We fly over bombed-out bridges. We dance over minefields. We dig up mortars with our bare feet.
What about bone merchants?
Bone merchants?
Known to approach Americans in certain marketplaces with a set of dog tags and canister of loose soil and bone fragments. Offered for sale, $100.
We buy them all. We buy up all the bones, put them back in the ground, and watch them grow.
They grow.
Sure. We're gods.
And there are children. Can gods have children?
Thousands.
Robert?
Yes?
Don't you want to get some sleep?
Maybe I will. What will you do?
I'm going to stay up a while.
Sit by the window. Look out at the city. Tell me what you see.
I'm not sure.
Yes, you are.
Well, there's Lam Sun Square.
Right.
Nyen Hui Boulevard. Dong Khoi Street. That's the old Tudo Street. Before that, the Rue Catinat.
Go on.
You can see all the way up to the cathedral on one side, and down past the French restaurants, to the street market, the river, the lights on the ferry boats going out to the delta.
The Mekong.
Yes.
Mimi,
Yes.
will you stay up all night?
I don't know.
You should sleep.
I don't feel like it.
Neither do I.
I'm thinking about it.
What it would be like.
Yes.
Are your eyes open or closed?
Closed.
You moved.
Just my arm.
To touch your hair? To take off a shoe?
You know the code.
We're not using code. We don't need a code.
Do we speak?
We don't have to.
Touch?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We have time. We can wait,
Does it get so you can't breathe?
but you don't pass out.
Your eyes are open.
Yours too.
Do you think he can hear us?
No words. Not a sound. He can't see us. He can't hear us. He can't stop us.
Our thoughts.
We can go anywhere.
Rise and shine, rise and shine. Awake with the sun, arise when the birds sing. Long night on the porch, Lee. Out cold, huh? Well, let's see if I can help you out here. Waterman, the craft interview part 2. Answer early morning. Answer with a 2.5 Ticonderoga pencil and a legal pad. Answer near a window. Answer sweatshirt and jeans. Answer in the shower, sometimes the car, more and more dreams, always. What it boils down to is paying attention to what's closest to you, your body, speech, and mind, your place in the physical universe and your dreams. I hope you're paying attention to your dreams, Lee. You just dreamed half a Q&A interview. Fill in the questions and you're set. Come on, Lee. Party's over. Time to hit the road if you want to get to Quang Nine. Time for Trung Yin, or do you call it Vulan Day, the 15th day of the 7th lunar month, August 15th. Wandering Souls Day, right? Yeah. We got a wandering soul causing a lot of trouble around here. But today's the day we crank up the old Buddhist voodoo, bring him home and put him to rest for good. Mike, the fallen soldier, Mike, our old Lietzi. Mike. Name doesn't exactly sing, does it?
Please be advised that the following program contains language and content of an adult nature.
I'm Ron Rifkin.
I'm JoBeth Williams.
I'm Bob Balaban.
I'm Bruce Davison.
This is Alfred Molina.
This is LA Theater Works. I'm Susan Lowenberg. In a quiet university set on the Louisiana bayous, a passionate love triangle awakens the old demons of 3 people haunted by the war in Vietnam. The school's new poet in residence, known simply as Waterman, refused to serve in the war and spent 3 years in jail. Mimi, his partner and poetic muse, lost a boyfriend in combat. Joining them is a Vietnamese professor named Robert, who as a child saw his country collapse around him. To break free of the past, they discover what they love and what they're willing to fight for in the present, in Mimi's Guide by Doris Baizley. This week on LA Theater Works. In Hour 1 of Mimi's Guide, Waterman and Mimi meet Robert at a literary seminar.
How does she match up, Professor? Have I captured her in print?
I don't think that would be easy to do.
Soon, Mimi and Robert imagine traveling together to his homeland, Vietnam.
If we miss the plane, we'll rent a car and head straight up Highway 1.
Wouldn't that be great?
It is great.
Their relationship intensifies, and their trip becomes a symbol of escape from Waterman.
He can't see us. He can't hear us. He can't stop us.
Our thoughts.
But will any of them escape the wreckage caused by the Vietnam War?
2 corrupt governments selling out to each other, politics, the whole stinking
It wasn't your country!
And now, Hour 2 of Mimi's Guide by Doris Baizley, starring Powers Boothe, Francis Conroy, and Ping Wu. Produced by LA Theater Works.
Mot 1, High 2, Ba 3, Bon 4, Nam 5. Yes, ko, no kong. Me. Beautiful. Me. American. Mimi. Beautiful, beautiful. American, American.
Oh, you're working.
Ah, and the lady appears. The language works like a charm. How was the shower?
Fine.
Hot water working okay?
Yes.
That's good. You never know with these old places, but we don't have much choice about that, do we?
Oh, go ahead if you're working.
No, not now. Come on. Join me. Complimentary French rolls and a basket of fruit for the honored guests.
Waterman.
Don't say anything till you taste the coffee. This is the best. This could be worth the whole trip right here. I'm in a good mood, don't you think?
Yes, you are.
I'll say, after last night, they drink a lot here, don't they?
I think they're famous for it.
All the vices in full bloom. It's like going back 20 years. No, more than that, 26 years, to be exact.
What are you working on?
Oh, reading mostly. I've been to the library, picked up some guidebooks, interesting facts and customs they've got here.
What are you talking about?
You know, there's even a guest house they mentioned, the last example of French colonial architecture in the province. The Nang People's Committee wanted to tear it down in '77, but now it's being preserved. European investors plan on a big resort trade, good access to China Beach. You get the bullet holes patched up and name it something French, and it'll be a real high-class B&B. But you already know about that.
Oh, I see.
What? What do you see?
You were listening to everything.
I always listen to you.
But last night...
I could be sound asleep 1,000 miles away and I'd know.
I can tell you everything that happened.
But what you saw...
What?
What you saw, what you see here. The Vietnam Guidebook, the Vietnam Traveler, Vietnam a History, Vietnam, going back.
I don't think we should do this anymore.
It's him, isn't it?
Who?
Mike.
He's dead, Waterman.
Oh, but there's something about him.
26 years.
And you're moving the whole time. Bike messenger, cab driver, all those new places.
You love that. If I didn't keep moving, what would you write about? I drive cross country. I go to school, church, the market, the thrift store. Everything I do turns into print.
Into poetry. That's different.
I sleep with a poet and we make books. Thousands of words, millions of little letters, all named for me, and none of it's mine.
3 nights in a row, we dreamed the same dream. You remember that?
Bloomington, Indiana, 3 collections ago. You've seen it all.
But not this.
No.
Why not?
Some things are mine.
What? What things?
Okay. Sure. What I saw. Mosquito nets. Jasmine. A boy on a water buffalo. Nightclubs in Saigon. Peasants in the rice fields.
Ah, that's postcards.
You didn't used to judge my fantasies.
I know when the connection's there.
That was a long time ago, Waterman.
Well, I take a long view on that. I know what we've got behind us, and there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to get old. We'll die, and those books will still be there. Okay. They're collecting dust on a back shelf or buried in some remainder bin, but there's still going to be somebody who opens one. And you'll be there. Gorgeous as ever, waiting to guide them somewhere. And we'll start all over again.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, you're easy. It was the gorgeous, right? It got you with a single word.
Damn you, Waterman.
We are good. Both of us. That's what makes the poem.
The old ones.
No. It's happening now.
What's happening? All you're doing is digging up my old stuff. You've used up everything else.
Oh, fighting words from the muse.
Stop it, Waterman.
Stop what? Stop breathing? Stop seeing? She knows when I'm onto something, she's not going to make it easy. I am going to see what you see. I'm close now. I know it.
This isn't your poem.
This is the original. We're going back to the original romance.
I'm here, Waterman. You can see me right here. I'm not going back anymore.
Hey, you started it. Air France from Paris. You saw it as soon as you got here. Huck Finn floating down the Mekong River. Or is it Ho Chi Minh in the old Mississippi, the Asian Cajun from Bayou Hanoi?
You always said sarcasm is death to poetry.
Irony. Rilke said it. The young professor is right on time.
He's here to take you to his introductory class. Don't get him into this.
Oh, you already did. Oh, but that's right, that's right. You know what you're doing. We can't get where we're going without a native guide and interpreter.
Tell him you'll meet him there later. Tell him you're working.
I am working. That's why I need him.
I mean it. You can't use everybody.
Oh, you'll get plenty out of it. Believe me. Tenure at least.
Damn you!
Look at you. Look at you. Your color's up. Your eyes are blazing. This is just what it's like when it's working. Come in, Lee.
I'll get your books.
What books? I got everything I need right here.
You ready?
Just about. So soon as I work out this translation problem, I thought maybe you could help me.
Great. What's the language?
It's for the Vulan.
The Vulan.
Yeah, anyone who dies a violent death, far from home, or without children, they're called the wandering spirits or hungry ghosts. So there's this ceremony to bring them home, give them some food and drink, and put them to rest.
I think you've got the wrong guy.
Oh, no, I've got the right guy. Our wandering spirit's name is Mike. You might be familiar with that.
I never heard it.
Oh, but you discussed it. Huh. That's the first part of the ceremony, right there. The departed is discussed, his life and the manner of his death.
You should check out the French Quarter. They got a lot of voodoo rituals like that.
Everyone wears white. A white cloth covers the table, incense is lit, and offerings are made.
Saints and angels and the Blessed Virgin Mary. Maybe I could help you.
There's a practice they mention here. 3 words are written on 3 pieces of silk paper and burned. The silk threads rise up in the air as they burn, carrying the message to the spirit.
You have a message for this spirit?
Oh, yeah. But I don't have the language. English doesn't work in the Vulan. I need someone with the language to write those 3 words.
To translate.
Yeah, that's right.
I could find you plenty of guys in Asian studies.
They don't need a series of craft interviews and a visiting poet to speak.
So, it's a trade.
Words for words. It's fair.
You know I don't believe in it.
You don't think words have power?
Of course I do.
If they don't, we're nothing.
Okay. What are they?
Something I've been wanting to tell him for a long time.
I've got all the guides in the unpublished collections. Is there anything else?
Tell me the words.
Not now.
What?
I can't tell you now.
Well, I'm glad somebody's ready for this class. Hello?
Hello.
We were just working out a translation deal.
What is it?
3 words. I'd like to know what they are.
Time isn't right. Place isn't right.
Then I can't help you.
But later...
If you can't say it now, no.
I forgot the dictionary. Do you want to take it with you? Waterman.
You can take it if you want.
You're not going to class?
I can always go to class. Vulande only comes once a year.
I see.
Let them meet Mimi. You want to introduce them to my poetry? She's the original source.
You're sure?
They don't want to teach her anyway. They'll show me their poetry. If I like it, they'll think they're geniuses, and if I don't, I'm an asshole. Go on. Oh, and don't forget your papers.
We've got everything.
Ooh, passports, visas, travel permits. Says here you should also take mosquito repellent, sunblock for morning, and umbrellas for the afternoon rain. And don't forget ballpoint pens and cigarettes to give as gifts.
That's not done anymore.
What?
The gift giving. It's a third world practice, not considered business like in the new economy.
Ah, I see. I'm behind the times.
Don't worry, Waterman. We'll bring you up to date. We'll move you right up into modern, maybe even contemporary. We can do that, can't we?
That's our job.
Who's driving?
You are.
Let's see. Vietnam guidebooks. Let's see. Yeah, okay, here we go. Okay. Da Nang to Quang Nai, 130 kilometers straight shot south on Highway 1. You pass China Beach, but you won't stop there. You pass Marble Mountain, past Tom Key, past Chulai. Chulai? He was stationed there. Okay, you stop. You get out of the car to look. Chain link fence along the highway, old artillery pieces, abandoned barracks, an empty field stretching out to the South China Sea. But but you're getting close to Quang Nai now. 30 kilometers to the center of town. You check in with the tourist office for maps of the area. Travel is restricted in this area. Special permits required to visit the Misan Memorial, site of the My Lai massacres. 14 kilometers northeast of Quang Nai. Jesus God. 14 kilometers outside Quang Nai. Is that the place you're looking for? Is that in his letters? Has it been in his letters all along?
Is he out there?
Not here.
He's probably upstairs working or sleeping. Sometimes it's the same thing. Look at us. What are we doing? We don't have to whisper.
If he's sleeping.
I won't whisper. Let's go back out.
You already so.
I don't care. God, it feels great. It's rain, but it's warm. It's so amazing. I can't believe it you told them.
What I didn't tell them.
That I was an expert on Waterman. Not Mimi. Not that Mimi. Not his subject.
You're not his subject.
Freed from the books. Released from print.
Transformed from paper and ink.
No longer a subject. God, what that feels like. Not to have all that stuff attached to my name.
Like being me without the war attached.
So let's get rid of it. There's no war.
Just like that. There's no war.
Right. What?
That
what is
it? So 60s.
No, don't laugh.
I'm not laughing, I swear.
You'll make me 100 years old.
Okay. Okay. No war. No Waterman. Come on. I made you 100. I can make you 17. No war. No Waterman.
No war. No Waterman.
We're reborn right here. Soaking wet and everything.
I love it. Let's go back out.
No, wait.
This is scary.
Scary like what if we get caught? Or why am I doing this?
Both. And who are you?
I'm a teacher. Same as you. And last night we were gods and we weren't afraid of anything.
Please, God, not another poet. You'll write this all down.
Do you see me writing?
But you're thinking.
What? What am I thinking? If I had a brain in my head, I wouldn't be doing this. But all I can think is, how can we do that again? You turn away half an inch, it could be a mile. I don't know who you are. And you don't know me. But it feels like we go way back. Yeah, it is scary.
Robert.
God. What if I passed out? Wouldn't that be something?
You felt like that?
Let's get out of here.
You sure you're okay?
We'll walk, okay? We'll just walk anywhere.
Yes, I'll get my stuff.
Okay. Yeah, well. I found it. Some of the American books have left it out, but it's on the new maps.
Waterman.
The place you're looking for, 14 kilometers outside Quang Nai.
What?
You take Highway 1 north, cross the bridge, and proceed a few meters to a triangular marker pointing out a dirt road to the right. You take this east to the village of Saint-My.
What's the point?
Saint-My is the village. The hamlet is My Lai.
Let me see that.
First, you see the museum. In the garden, there's a white marble statue of a woman holding a child, and a wall mosaic with a short statement. On March 16th, 1968, a U.S. military operation took the lives of 504 non-combatants in this village.
Why are you doing this?
11th Infantry Americal Division stationed at Chu Lai.
I asked you, why are you doing this?
Oh, you want to know what's there? You started on this road.
And this is my punishment. You better go. This is going to get mean.
Then come with me.
Not yet.
Then I'll stay.
The American book stops here. The Michelin has more detail. You want to stay? You can read it.
You don't have to.
I can play his game.
Oh, here. Go ahead. This page.
The guide will meet you here for a tour of the surrounding fields. You will walk along the edges of vegetable gardens and rice paddies, beneath fronds of coconut palms and banana trees.
My letters.
Banana palms and everything. Green, wherever you look. It's real jungle, Mimi.
I already know that.
White stones mark the place where each family was killed.
These kids come around selling cokes and beer to us, and then they go back and tell their leaders where we are.
Every few feet is a memorial plaque. Here on 16
They watch you
March,
walk down a trail planted with mines, and they don't say anything.
Here on 16 March 1968,
a man is killed, and they don't say anything.
Here on 16 March 1968, died 104.
Both his feet were blown off. His legs were torn to shreds. It was the most horrible thing I've ever seen.
Some of the stones lie flat on the ground. Others are raised a little. All are inscribed with names, except for an irrigation ditch where many died huddled together. Here the guide will leave you with a pamphlet, and the tour is over.
Oh, not quite. There's more. When I got back to the village where we got hit...
That's enough. Give me the letters.
When I got back to the village...
Stop it!
Then you finish it. You know the rest.
No!
Say it and get it over with. When I got back...
The tour is over. Give her the letters.
When I got back to the village where we got hit...
You think this is going to change anything? The clouds part, the sun shines, the truth is revealed, and the healing begins? Waterman's Guide to Mental Health.
It beats the methods you've tried. When I got back to the village...
This is unnecessary.
When I got back to the village...
When I got back to the village where we got hit, I felt like turning my machine gun and killing every bastard, man, woman, and child in it.
Okay.
You don't know he was there. Nothing in those letters says he was ever at My Lai.
We were all there, Mimi. This is where we lost everything. Now we do the Vulan and put him to rest.
You think you're going to heal things by making me hate Mike? You're wrong.
You carry around a romantic hero. You carry the other side, too.
He didn't do that.
He thought the thoughts. Come on, Robert, you heard the letter.
I heard it. The tour is over.
Oh, we aren't finished yet.
Yeah, we are. We got the big hit of guilt and shame you wanted. Now you can go and write a poem about it.
Oh, not without the ceremony. We've got the white cloth, we've got the food and drink, we light the candles, make the offerings, and send the message.
You can do that by yourself. Come on, Mimi. Let's get out of here.
Let her go.
What?
Let her go. 3 words. That's simple enough, isn't it?
That's the message.
Right.
Let her go.
Right.
No.
What?
Those aren't the right words.
I thought this wasn't your religion.
It isn't. But you want the old Eastern wisdom? Be courteous. Her is not courteous if you mean the woman here whose name is Mimi.
I mean this. Jesus.
Then say it right. Say the name you mean. It's important to you, right? And it's not easy to do. It's easier to talk in code.
I don't need this
lecture.
The
code's a lie. If you want this guy to hear you, you have to say the 3 words you mean.
Let Mimi go.
Would you beg?
What did you say?
Beg. Would you get down on your knees and beg?
You go to hell, Lee.
That'll get you nowhere in the spirit.
I'm not asking you.
Yes, you are.
This is
The ghost stuff is Spirits are easy. You can ask them all you want and they don't answer back. The guy you want is right here.
This isn't a good idea, Lee.
You want to talk to Mike? You're as close as you're going to get. He died on the ground I came from. His blood went into the water I drank and the food I ate. I am made out of that blood. He went over there and I came back. So you ask me.
Go home, Lee. Just go home. We'll forget this all happened.
This is home.
I'm not speaking metaphorically.
Neither am I.
You live here?
Visiting poets come and go. You thought this place was all yours?
Well, it won't be yours without a job here. You get yourself in trouble over this and you won't...
Over this? She reads for you, apologizes for you, finds your lost objects, gives you her name for your poems. And you can't even say it unless you're calling for help. If I were you, I'd be fighting for my life.
Oh, let's see here. All we've got to do is push record, then we push play, and our interview is history, the way they mean it now, as gone, past, finished, erased.
Go ahead. I've got it memorized. Hell, when I was 12, I could recite more poems than a Harvard professor.
You'd give it all up?
Yes, I would.
You think she's going to leave me for a few romantic words on the porch?
Not words. Silence. That's how we work.
Is that Bly's translation or an original? If it's yours, you screwed it up. It's he works in silence.
Be quiet, Waterman.
Oh, so you have been listening.
I said be quiet!
More of Mimi's Guide starring Powers Boothe in a moment. If you've missed anything so far, you can listen online at latw.org or check this station's website. This is LA Theatre Works.
Support for LA Theatre Works is provided by the many friends and contributors who are our producing partners. More information about how to become a supporter of LA Theatre Works is available at latw.org. Additional funding is provided by AudioFile, the magazine for people who love audiobooks. Read online reviews and author profiles, listen to sound clips, find earphone award winners, and new releases such as LA Theatre Works' The Rivalry, the electrifying dramatization of the history-making Lincoln-Douglas debate starring Paul Giamatti and David Strathairn. More information is available at audiofilemagazine.com.
You may enjoy other tales of ill-fated romance in our audio theater collection. Broadway legend Elaine Stritch stars as literary legend Lillian Hellman in Cakewalk, the story of Hellman's tumultuous relationship with a man 25 years her junior.
You're a great one for putting things off.
Such as?
Such as what we'll do when the autumn is over.
Well, you're not worried about time. You're worried about the winter.
And me.
And Shadowlands is the acclaimed story based on the real-life romance between C.S. Lewis and the American poet Joy Gresham.
Mrs. Gresham, I've enjoyed our correspondence.
Enjoyed? Okay.
Not the word you would use?
Your letters have been the most important thing in my life.
Oh, dear.
But let's pretend I didn't say that. This is tea, this is England.
All of our titles are available on CD or as downloads. You can find them at our website, latw.org. This is LA Theatre Works. Later in the program, we'll learn about how American forces map Vietnam with historian and cartography expert John Rennie Short. And we'll speak with the author of Mimi's Guide, Doris Baizley. Now, LA Theatre Works continues with our production of Mimi's Guide.
You want to know what I see? You want to know what I see on that road outside Quang Ngai? There's a fence, a gate, bright white lights on the other side. A guard says I can't pass. Everything this side of the road's off limits. Restricted work site, no civilians, no press, U.S. Army regulations. They're here now digging up old battlefields to identify remains. There are mounds of mud, sheets of black plastic, and bones. Piles of bones. They're sorting them out, but I don't see how they can tell the difference. North, South, American, French, Japanese, Chinese, Cham, Khmer, thousands of years of bones. There's a flash. The work lights short out. I crawl through the fence and see it now. It isn't just bones here. Dog tags, pieces of weapons. I see pictures of girlfriends. Yearbook photographs of girlfriends. Our rings. Our ID bracelets. Handkerchiefs. Underpants. All the stuff we gave them. We're all over the place. And we are in love here.
Not girlfriends. Lovers. We're right here with them. And we know they're in love here too. Strongest appetites. Sharpest vision. Clearest memory. First lover is the blood bond. War makes it hotter than anything. Death makes it permanent. No one's going to separate these bones. We're all locked together here. Buddies and lovers and enemies, willing to die and kill for each other. Nothing beats that. 20 years is nothing compared to that. Your muse is a killer, Waterman. She's covered with blood.
Stop it. Stop it.
Weapons of war in her hands. Unspeakable words in her mouth. She goes to Vietnam and she sees love.
Stop it.
My blood is there. I'm part of it.
You are not.
You want to see what I see? You should have fought.
Oh, you can't. You cannot believe that. that I should have gone there. I should have fought, killed kids, and died.
Lost everything.
Come on, Mimi. Mimi, come on. We'll forget all this. We'll go somewhere, anywhere you say.
I can't do that anymore.
You want me to beg? You want me to kneel? I'm kneeling.
It's too late, Waterman.
You see me? You hear me?
I left you last night.
Oh. Oh, he's got her. He's got her good. Oh, but I'll get him. I'll do my own Vulan, search and goddamn destroy him, put him away for good.
Stop it! You can't burn those letters!
Get away, Mike!
Give me those letters!
You go to hell, Mike! Oh, you're going now. You're going for good.
Give me those letters!
No, Mike! Get away!
Put it down, Waterman. Put the knife down.
Oh, you want blood, don't you? This is great. She'll love you for this.
She just wants the letters. Give me the letters.
No!
Jesus, my hand!
Robert!
It's okay.
I won, huh? Drew some Vietnamese blood?
Yeah, you won.
Won what? 20 years of nothing. 20 years of lies. Ah! It's over now. It's all goddamn over. You take the letters. Maybe you can tell him there's a place for him to rest that's peaceful. All is forgiven. You can come home now. But I can't. I don't forgive him.
Hey, Meme. I'm thinking about that burger I'm going to eat first thing when I get home. Not too romantic, is it? But I can really see that burger. No kidding. After that, we'll go look for a car. A station wagon, maybe. Or a four-door. And an apartment. Someplace quiet. Someplace our kids can walk to school.
Big night at Mimi's. GI? Guys fight, and you get the girl, no?
Mimi.
Mimi loves guys who fight. Crazy for blood. Special rate for you, GI.
You don't have to do this.
Mimi's Bar, c'est le classiest place on Tudor Street. Girls speak français seulement. No Saigon tea here. Champagne, cognac, Johnny Walker.
Come on, this isn't...
Oh, you fight for other guys? No problem. Mimi's Bar is all BC after midnight. We sleep with both sides. Tout le monde couche avec Mimi.
You're lousy at this.
Tu ne parles pas français? Oh, too bad, GI. Le français, c'est la langue d'amour, n'est-ce pas? How you call la langue? The tongue.
The language.
D'amour. Tu sais d'amour, GI?
I'm not a GI.
But you know d'amour?
I've read about it. Game over.
No.
Yes, it is.
You fought!
Oh, yeah. We always fight. My father fought the North all his life. His father fought the Japanese. His grandfather died at Verdun in 1917 fighting the Germans. You love it so much? Go over to my parents' house and you can hear all the details. The bravery of the colonial troops in France. How the Vietnamese tirailleurs pulled the artillery up Dead Man's Hill and lost every man in the first wave. All about the great counterattack against the North at Quang Tri in 73, or how the ARVN 5th Division could have held An Lac with 2 more units and air support. Or the great day they cleaned the VC out of the Citadel in Wei. And it doesn't stop with him. They've got teenage boys watching Rambo and saving up their money for enough assault rifles and plane fare so they can go back and kick some commie butt. You love that.
It doesn't end, does it?
I haven't been back to my father's house in 2 years, so I won't have to hear that. I'm not going to carry that on. I'm not your warrior, Mimi. Whatever's going on between us, I don't want it to be that.
Oh, your hand. Look at this.
The fine old smell of blood.
God.
What?
It does smell good.
Like Mike's.
No.
Direct from Quang Nai.
No. This is Baton Rouge.
Mixed with some Mekong.
And some Mississippi. And some South China Sea.
Yeah?
Hmm.
And let me see your hand. What's this? What's in here?
Upstate New York. The St. Lawrence River.
Mixed with, let's see.
Oh, Lord, everything.
The North Atlantic. The west coast of Ireland. River Shannon. River Liffey.
And some Loire, some Rhine and Danube.
This is the grass that grows. Wherever the land is and the water is.
All mixed together.
This is the common air that bathes the globe.
Walt Whitman. So it is true. You know what you're doing.
Yes. Do you?
I'm serious.
You think I'm not?
I'm really serious. About what could happen on this night, the 15th day of the 7th lunar month.
Fulan Day, we've already done that.
No. God. It's so clear. What the women have done all the way back. The old Celts, the Greeks. I don't know about the charms.
Mimi.
But Durga and Uma and Parvati. And the muse. The original muse. I know what she would do exactly. She would wait for the time, the 15th day of her monthly cycle. Today, tonight, this one night. She would make love to the man she has chosen. Then go to her place in the mountains, and in 9 months give birth to a new tribe. Okay, not a new tribe, but a life. A new life.
And not the muse.
No, me.
You'd really do that?
Yes.
Right now, right at this moment.
Would you?
But there's so much we don't know.
You think we can't be responsible to what we don't know?
This isn't a poem.
I know.
But Waterman, you and Waterman.
For 20 years, we kept saying the world's too full already, too screwed up. I don't believe that now.
So this is why you came here in the first place?
No.
To test it out with Waterman, and if it doesn't work out with him...
Is that what you think?
Wouldn't you think that?
Did you think that last night?
No. But this changes everything.
What does it change? And why not change everything? What I've seen could use some improving.
But what you're talking about is a serious decision. It's real, permanent.
18-year-old boys march off to war, no questions asked. Death is permanent. Why should this be so much harder? Of course, the original muse would probably kill you and eat you or something. I wouldn't do that. I don't want warriors either. There's blood and there's pain. But you make something, and there's no going back from it.
You would do it.
On my own, if I had to. I've got my own job, my own place.
The muse in the mountains.
A 5th-floor apartment and an elevator building in Greenwich Village. 30 kids I teach every day. Or maybe nothing will happen. Nobody can see that far ahead.
I don't know. I understand, but I don't know.
Then it balances out. I know. So, you want to walk?
No.
No, it's too fast. I shouldn't have said anything.
It's not fast. We've been ready to come together for a long time. But it can't be fast. It can't be a made-up idea or part of some plan. When we do, that touch will take a long time. That touch will put the whole world back together.
So?
So, do you really know the names of the 50 state flowers?
Alabama is the camellia. Alaska, the wild rose. Arizona, the cactus flower. Arkansas, the apple blossom.
Sounds like home.
We are home. California, the poppy. Colorado, the columbine. If you're still here by Ohio, I'll take that as a yes.
Go on.
Connecticut, the mountain laurel. Delaware, the peach blossom. Florida, the orange flower. Waterman. Listen, Waterman. The day we met, the reading at NYU to celebrate your getting out of jail, it was a Sunday afternoon in January 1973. I forget the exact date, but it was the day they signed the Paris Peace Accords. There was a cold rain, but everybody was high and excited. After the reading, we went into a bar and watched the news on television. People were shouting and yelling so loud at the TV we couldn't hear a word. But we didn't care what they were saying in Paris. We knew there wouldn't be any more soldiers going. So we drank a toast to peace and called the war over. We didn't have a clue what was just starting.
Ready?
Yes. It hasn't been like anything we thought, Waterman. But that's what we wanted in the first place, wasn't it? That's all we promised each other. What the poems were saying all along. Not to be afraid. To change. And to keep changing.
This is LA TheatreWorks' production of Moon's Guide by Doris Baizley. If you've missed anything so far, or you'd like to listen to this show online, visit us at latw.org or check this station's website for more information. Next, cartography expert John Rennie Short tells us how American forces mapped the shifting political terrain in Vietnam during the war. And stay tuned later in the hour for a conversation with playwright Doris Baizley.
Major funding for LA Theatre Works broadcast series is provided by the S. Mark Taper Foundation. Founded in 1989, the S. Mark Taper Foundation is a private family foundation dedicated to enhancing the quality of people's lives by supporting nonprofit organizations and their work in the community.
Joining me now is John Rennie Short, a professor of public policy at the University of Maryland and an expert on political geography and the history of cartography. He is the author of more than 30 books, including Cartographic Encounters, An Imagined Country, Society, Culture, and Environment. Professor Short, welcome to the program and thanks for being with us.
It's my pleasure, Susan.
Our Play Mimi's Guide features a crude military map of Vietnam sent by an American soldier to his girlfriend back in the United States. When did the U.S. begin acquiring intelligence to produce military maps for Vietnam, and how was it acquired?
They started acquiring cartographic information in the 1950s, especially from the late 1950s onwards. A couple of key dates are 1962, 1963. There was a massive photographic campaign by aircraft to map the country. They also employed Vietnamese to make maps, and they generated maps themselves. They also had a cartographic legacy from the French. They drew heavily on French maps, and the French had been mapping Vietnam for about 80 years before the United States became involved. And they used the French grid as a base point for their maps.
American combat forces first entered Vietnam in 1965. How did cartography factor in the strategic plan for fighting a ground war in Vietnam?
At all levels, the Vietnam War was more of a long, drawn-out campaign fought right throughout the country. So rather than, say, the Second World War or the Korean War, where you had massive armies locked into combat in specific sites, the maps could be relatively simple. In Vietnam, US forces were widely scattered throughout South Vietnam, and they needed accurate maps, and they needed up-to-date maps. Platoons, brigades, all needed cartographic information in order to move around the country and find out who was who and find out who was where. So maps played a huge role. We have some indication of that. You always know when things are used a lot because the army people start using slang, and the troops on the ground in Vietnam referred to maps as comics.
What do you mean, comics?
I think they're probably a derogatory notion that it was fiction as much as anything else. But that was the term that they used, comics, for maps.
Well, I was thinking as you were speaking about what good did these satellite maps do those soldiers as they were just picking their way through this thick underbrush, which, of course, the Vietnamese knew like the back of their hand.
That was true. There was this huge asymmetry. US forces were reliant on large-scale maps at the scale of 1 to 50,000, which doesn't give you a great deal of detail. It only gave you basic topography. Often it was delayed in the sense of like when the map was made. So compared the US forces with really sort of fairly sketchy knowledge of the terrain with the local VC, who had an intimate knowledge of every nook and cranny. So it was one of those ones whereas the United States forces had tremendous technological superiority, they really lacked basic geographical information.
How did they utilize this information practically on the ground?
I know they were given maps. Maps were made by central authorities, given out to kind of troops, often at, as I said, at this 1 to 50,000 scale. Sometimes there'd be slightly more detailed maps and photo maps for detailed missions. But no, they needed that information, and they were moving around for what was them, an alien and strange country that they knew nothing about, really. And so maps were absolutely vital about just being able to make their way through this complex territory. You know, it ranged from mountains to coastal plains, from the delta, flat, very difficult to find your way around this flat, featureless delta. And then, on the other hand, there was like steep topography, dense tropical forests. It was a very complex terrain that Americans didn't have much experience of, and the maps were always slightly off in terms of time. You needed real-time information. The Viet Cong were moving quickly. They often moved at night, so even when the US could take photographs from planes, the technology was such they couldn't do that in darkness, so the Viet Cong would move in darkness. And most of the maps were fairly simple about topography or location. They said very little about socioeconomic information, which tribe, who was loyal, who was not, who was Buddhist, who was Catholic, who was for the VC. So in other words, the maps gave you just a basic physical terrain. But what was important was knowing which village was more loyal to you than to the VC, and they just didn't have that information.
The crucial date mentioned in this play is May 11th, 1968, which is the day after the U.S. began its peace talks with Vietnam. How comprehensive was America's information by that point?
They had good photo maps of the entire country by various missions that had flown over. They had some satellite information. They had some revised maps, topographic maps of more local areas. So they had fairly good, comprehensive, but it was a fairly crude scale, so it didn't give you tremendous detail, especially for troops on the ground. The troops on the ground weren't getting real-time information that was sensitive to social and political factors. So there was in other words, in summary, there was this broad scale aggregate maps that they had of the entire country, but not particularly sensitive maps at the very, very local scale at the level of individual villages and which headman was on your side and which not.
Well, thank you so much, Professor Short. This was very interesting.
It's been my pleasure speaking with you, Susan.
I've been speaking with John Rennie Short, a professor of public policy at the University of Maryland and the author of Cartographic Encounters. You can hear more of our conversation on our website. Go to latw.org. Playwright Doris Baizley wrote Mimi's Guide in 1995 as a sequel to her play Tears of Rage, both of which revolved around the character of Mimi and the Vietnam War. LA Theatre Works produced Mimi's Guide in March of 1996. During our production, I sat down with Doris Baizley to discuss the play and the impact of the Vietnam War on her life and her playwriting. In a few short sentences, how would you set the scene for Mimi's Guide?
I wanted to have the lights come up and we're in a tropical setting, sort of French colonial tropical setting with old wooden shuttered doors and beautiful tropical vines crawling around, and not know exactly what country we're in when this play starts.
What, in your mind, is the play about?
Well, I think the play is about really what it takes to get over an awful experience as awful as death in war, an experience that people have had that's almost an ancient experience that goes way, way, way back, that women and men have suffered for a long time. And I think I want Mimi to find that. I want Mimi to be able to get through what this war did to her and come out on the other side.
Many of your plays are about women in war. Why do you think you keep coming back to this theme?
I don't know. I think because it's so big. It's such a big theme, and it seems like wars don't stop happening. And it's certainly with Vietnam, it's quite a mystery to me how Vietnam keeps coming back and keeps staying controversial and keeps bringing people down in a way. It's really amazing. I mean, that's why I wrote 3 plays about Vietnam. I felt like I hadn't said enough with the first one, and then I moved on to Mimi's Guide, which was a second one in this series. And when I got finished with that one, I thought, I still really haven't said what I want to say. I think I'm going to take my character and make her 20 years older and see what happens. What are we going to be thinking about it in 20 years? I don't know whether it's just generally women in war, but certainly for me, Vietnam was such a big moment that changed how we lived our lives, that as I get older and look back, it's still very important to me.
I was just about to ask you about how the war at that time impacted you and your friends, and how did it propel you into writing a play?
Right, and I have to say it, since it happened when my friend's boyfriend was killed in Vietnam was 1968, and I couldn't come near writing a play about it until probably the late 80s, early 90s.
Which is when you wrote the first
which
play,
is when I wrote
Tears of Rage, which precedes Mimi's Guide.
Yes, right.
And it is about that death, as I
yes,
recall.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's set in 1968. And I guess I got to thinking about it in 1988, and I looked back and realized that our experience with Vietnam wasn't like any of the kind of cliches we have about Vietnam. The guys we knew who went to fight in 1967 were upper middle class, Ivy League, and they went because, well, like me, they had a background of parents who'd been in World War II and fought this really glorious, triumphant battle. But they went, they heard Kennedy say what you can do for your country, and they believed that it was patriotic, that that's what they were going to do, that they were going off to do their duty. And I think we probably thought that too, the women who were then in college or just getting our first jobs. And the disillusionment that started coming back in those letters from Vietnam, the feeling that they weren't there for a noble cause or a glorious cause, that they hadn't even seen the enemy. People were getting killed and they didn't even know who the enemy was. It was civilians who were putting mines in the places where they would go in town to buy Coke or something. And they were feeling extremely unhappy about this war. That message got across to us when my roommate's boyfriend was killed, and we were doing a play. I had actually stood in for her to act in a play she was directing out at Sarah Lawrence, and the news came, and we took that play into New York, and we did it at the Greenwich Village Peace Center, and all the proceeds from the play were collected, put into a big box, and given to a guy to go to Canada. So we really changed all of our focus from career first, New York apartment, job, to stopping the war, resisting the war, not letting any more guys go over there and be in the situation that my friend's boyfriend had been in, that we were hearing about from our friends who were over there.
Are any of the characters in Mimi's Guide based on real people?
No, I think they're mostly composites. I mean, I call her Mimi because she's got to be partly me. Those 3 characters really come out of, they're all bunches and composites of people that I guess I had talked to between the time of writing Tears of Rage in 1968 and thinking, why am I still thinking about Vietnam? When the play set in 1968 was done in Seattle, I met a woman who came from Vietnam, who had come over in 1965, whose father was an officer in the South Vietnamese Army. And here I was, showing off this play in Seattle, this big anti-war play about how great it was that we all changed our lives and fought against the war. But to try to describe that to a woman who had to leave the country in 1975, who lost her country to the North, suddenly made me realize, wait a minute, this is a much more complicated attitude toward Vietnam than I had seen before. So I think she's kind of responsible for me writing the part of Robert Lee, who's the young Vietnamese poet and teacher. And then the part of Waterman is the part of me that was so proud of my anti-war work, who felt that the best years of my life were those years fighting against the war, and has kind of solidified into a real, all the sort of conventional left-wing wisdom. The war was bad, South Vietnam was corrupt, we had no business being there, the anti-war people are the best people. And then Mimi is kind of torn between those two sides. So I thought, I have these three ideas that don't fit together. That sounds like a love triangle to me, so I made it into a love triangle.
Well, thank you, Dory, for talking with us today.
It was great, Susan. Thank you.
Playwright Doris Baizley, speaking to LA Theatre Works in March of 1996. You can hear more of our conversation at our website, latw.org. Mimi's Guide by Doris Baizley starred Powers Boothe as Waterman, Frances Conroy as Mimi, and Ping Wu as Robert. Stage manager and live sound effects, Amy Strong. Sound engineering and music, Ray Guarna. Our director is Belita Moreno. The senior producer of our series is Jeff Rogers. Producers, Mark Ward, Mike Weiskopf, and Ron Lipkin. The recording engineer is Eric Brania at Point 360 Studios.